So hi everyone, my name is Hennesys Disla and I'm the CEO of ArmHug, and I am here with two incredible guests who are doing something really fun in the IV space. Got Joe Young here, who is the co-founder and CEO of PICO IV, and Miles Terry, who is the CSO of PICO IV. A lot of people are talking about IVs right now. There's a lot of papers written about if it's good for you and if it's not. I wanted to hear a little bit more about you guys and why you would start something that right now is pretty controversial.
Great. We're ready to go. Tackle that for sure. So I guess give you a little bit of background from myself. We started this company about 2 years ago, but we've been in the cannabinoid space for over 8 years. We have a company called Apex Labs CBD, which we're producing gummies and we're producing various drinks and topicals and things along that nature, and really starting to see some benefits from cannabinoids. And we have our scientist here, Miles Terry, who really we're looking for how do we make this more bioavailable? How do we make this product more systemic? Because if you're looking at the 30,000 research papers that have been done, they all end the same way. Why, if we can only, we're seeing improvements in these various areas, whether it's be Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or Lyme disease or something along those lines. But if only it was more systemic, if only it was more bioavailable, we can continue on the research. And so really, as we're focusing on water-soluble technology and making this product, because obviously cannabinoids and CBD is oil-based. We needed to make it water-soluble, and then we really, in order to sterilize it, we needed to shrink the particle size down to get it down to be able to fit through FDA-approved filtration. And so that's really been the goal, was how do we do this? How do we create this? It's never been done before. And fortunately, with Miles here, who with his background, and he probably should go a little bit into that, we were able to develop it for the first time and then go in and patent that process. And so I don't know, Miles, you want to go into maybe a little bit of what you did and your background and kind of how we got here?
Yeah. So I'm Miles Terry, so I'm patent holder for PICO IV. I guess the story's kind of one thing led to another type deal. Basically, early on we got into the cannabinoid space. I started doing it because I heard that a buddy of mine was, he was making, some good money, and we were trying to sell cannabinoids, and I wanted to get my COGS down. So what I did was, I'm like, okay, we're selling these little tinctures. Most people know what they are. They're little droppers that you put under your tongue. And basically, how do I get my COGS down from there, or my cost of goods, and make a little more margin, right? Then I figured out, okay, how did the two oils go together? And to make it more bioavailable, simply there, you put MCT oil and cannabinoid oil together. Once I got into that manufacturing, I kept reinvesting. I self-taught. I taught myself basically molecular chromatography, molecular distillation, hydrolytic and lipophilic balance numbers for different substances. Then got into ultrasonics. Taught myself how to do ultrasonics, and everyone really has almost like a milky water soluble, where it's an oil suspended in little droplets in water. But as Joe said, you can't sterilize that. So what my job was to figure out, how do you take something that we don't have the technology to make something with more surface area than it has mass, and that takes, thermodynamically speaking, an exponential amount of energy. So that's where I came up with the patented process to be able to accomplish that. And once that was accomplishable, not only do you get a clear water soluble, which is originally what we were going for, then it opens up pharmaceutical sterilization. So then I, got into that and started forming, our manufacturing process that we have today that, really, we think it exceeds, FDA standards, right? Because we believe that if you don't regulate yourself, you get regulated. And if you get regulated, what happens is, they regulate you very slowly and very, very, the way they want to do it. So that's kind of one thing, how Pico was born. So, yep.
Yeah, I guess for me, I'm thinking, what is something that if no one's ever heard of, let's say someone's never heard of you, right? And they're probably thinking like, how would this benefit me? How are you letting other folks know that what you're doing is important right now?
I think a lot of it goes to education on the endocannabinoid system and really why are we doing this? What's the importance of the endocannabinoid system? And it's not taught in medical schools for whatever reason right now. It was discovered really kind of back in 1990. So, as they're looking at how does cannabis affect the body, and then they discover the system. So I think I would say, relatively new for that. But basically, long story short, is we all produce endocannabinoids from the day that you were born. Your own system is producing cannabinoids, and why is it doing that? And that's the question that we needed to look at. And so, to give you a couple examples, so from the day you're born, you're producing endocannabinoids. The first time you ever received any kind of cannabinoid outside of what you produce on your own was actually from mother's milk. And that pregnant women actually produce twice as many endocannabinoids during pregnancy to support fetal development. So why is that? What is it all tied to? And so as they're looking at it, it's tied to pretty much every system in your body, your central nervous system, your pulmonary system, your reproductive system. Um, and really what it's doing is its job is to create homeostasis. And so what the beauty of it is, as you know, the sad part about it is as you age and as you have environmental factors and your poor diet and things like that, you can support your endocannabinoid system with phytocannabinoids, which is produced from the hemp plant. And that's really where we kind of come in, is being able to now sterilize something safely, that doesn't have any chance of microbials or bacteria or anything like that, and that we can actually see for the first time what is this actually doing in the blood system. And so, and in addition to that, by reducing the particle size where we did, the reason why we're called Pico is Miles was able to develop this and get it at its smallest point below sub-nano, which is in the pico realm, is that it can kind of just fit into things that other things can't. And so, and by sterilizing it and by having it in this particle size, by having a cannabinoid, we can start looking at how does this interact with the endocannabinoid system and start looking at neurodegenerative disorders, gastrointestinal, issues, IBS and things along those natures. So that's really the importance of why we're doing and what we're doing. And that's really the research that we need to look at kind of moving forward, is how does this interact with the endocannabinoid system at this systemic level and at this particle size? And that's really kind of what we're going into. So we're working with a few different countries. We're working with the university right now and kind of looking at looking at that as well. So,
Nice.
yeah.
And what does the product look like right now?
Pardon me?
What does the product look like?
It's we sell it in 5, 10 ml and 20 ml vials at certain milligrams. It's about 6.6 milligrams per ml, it's yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. It's clear.
Yeah.
So it goes out, the product goes out to our network of providers that we have. We have about 1,100 registered. We have about 600 active clinics. And we usually just direct, patients asking us about it, we actually just direct them towards a clinic that they can kind of go into it. But that's what the product looks like. It's if Miles, I don't know if you can hold it up a little bit closer to the camera.
Well,
Yeah.
whenever you do that, it makes the camera.
Yeah. But anyway, so
Um, y-
yeah.
yeah, and I think touching on the endocannabinoid system and whatnot, we always have this fun fact that we give everybody. if everyone's using AI nowadays, right? If you ask AI what happens when I have no cannabinoids in my body, and no cannabinoids in your body, it'll tell you you'll eventually die. So, I mean, it's this crucial to your whole system. As Joe was saying, it touches every system from a signaling standpoint. If it doesn't do it directly, it does it indirectly, and this degrades over time. After 30, your enzymes, which destroy these endocannabinoids or your signaling in everything in your body, as you get older, they stay the same, and then your production falls. So it's a cascade event that is supplementation that's heavily needed. The other thing I do want to touch on before we move on is that basically when you take oral cannabinoids, like a tincture or what everyone's talking about, you have two things that occur in your body that can occur. One is you have obviously poor bioavailability because your digestive tract. The big thing is your stomach acid can, on a small percentage, turn CBD into THC, specifically Delta 8. So you could have a conversion there. So that's why a lot of people, they're like, I didn't take any THC and I failed a drug test. We completely remove that aspect with our product because we bypass that system altogether. And also getting into the gut bacteria, you're not going to have any kind of gut irritation from being inside of the gut. The other thing is everything to date, all the studies, they've all been on cannabinoids that are lipophilic or oil based, right? They're not able to quantify the exact milligram dosage because either you have to smoke it, right, or you have to ingest it where your bioavailability is destroyed. So we've overcome that, and we have a quantifiable milligram dosage. So you don't have the bioavailability degradation, so you're able to achieve exactly what you want. So you can do better studies on it. And finally, your enzymes in your liver, they actually change the cannabinoids into hydroxy 11 versions, and those ones aren't doing what we're seeing the actual cannabinoids are doing. So we're seeing more than bioavailable results. We're seeing exponential results because of that. So because we bypass first pass metabolism.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing that you guys are doing this and testing it. I'm sure you're getting feedback on it, and how long have you been doing this?
We've been in business working with clinics for about 2 years now.
Yeah, almost 2 years. We have 1,100 registered clinics. We're supplying about 600 to 700, and we are at about 45,000 doses now. So quite a bit.
And so where can people find you?
We've got a website, it's picoib.com, and we've got, whether you're a clinic and you're looking to register, it's a very easy. We have a registration process where we go through and then we'll onboard certain clinics. Or if you're a patient that would like to try out the product, you can just go in and enter your information and we'll find a clinic for you.
Yeah, and I think it's good to touch on.
That's it.
You have to.
Sorry, one sec. That's at picoib.com if I didn't tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, so I think it's a good thing to touch on with that point that we don't sell to the public or anything like that. It has to be administered through a licensed professional who's been vetted, who has a medical license, medical director, nursing staff, everything like that. The public never touches the product. They just go into a clinic, they receive it, and they leave without anything. So.
Will you be at any conferences this year where people can maybe meet you in person?
Yeah, Vibe.
Yeah.
Vibe's a great one. And then others like A4M, we're gonna be around there. And you could always reach out to the website and whatnot, and we can get you other information as well. So
Awesome. Is A4M for home health?
What was that?
Do you know if A4M is for home health, like services and things like that? Or is it
Uh,
something pharmaceutical?
It's pretty extensive. I mean, it's anything that has to do with any kind of biohacking or anything along those lines.
Oh,
That's the
Yeah.
A4M in Vegas. Yeah,
I think it stands for the American Anti-Aging Association. That's the four A's. So A,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So
oh, that's clever.
And then
yeah,
Vibe is in September out in, I believe, Florida this year.
yeah, Florida, and then A4M is December in Vegas. But
And
yeah,
then
I mean, really anyone with, I mean, you talk about health. I mean, if you're healthy, those people don't age as much, so that's where A4M comes in. But I mean, really, that's where this product thrives is, if you're doing, beauty modifications, Botox, stuff like that, it can, it aids in really overall health and healing and youth. So.
Would this product also be good for med spas or no?
yeah, I mean, as once again, I mean, it really everybody's got their endocannabinoid system. It really kind of keeps going back to that, and you're looking at what the endocannabinoid system can touch regarding even just skin health and things basically along that nature. Would suggest that this product, could be helpful in those areas as well. So,
Well, that's the thing is the product itself really doesn't do anything. It's the triggering the body's endocannabinoid system to signal and a cascade of events, which is just really yourself doing what you do, which is keep yourself alive better. So
yeah, you have, part of the endocannabinoid system is there's called CB1 and CB2 receptors, which basically help modulate. You've got the CB1 receptor that's like considered, that's basically going to be active in your central nervous system, and it's one of the most abundant receptors in the brain. And then you got your CB2 receptors, which are really more for your immune systems and your peripheral tissues. And then as you're producing your endocannabinoids, you've got anandamide and then 2-AG. And anandamide is the bliss molecule. So it's really influences mood and memory and pain perception. And then your 2-AG is really more for like inflammation regulation, appetite, pain modulation. So really the theory would be is you're supplying your endocannabinoid system, allowing more homeostasis. It could be something definitely like in a med spa that somebody was coming in and getting administered from a doctor, once a month or something along those lines. So for sure, it definitely,
healthy people need it too.
yeah, that's really, that's kind of that's what the theory is, and that's what we need, and that's really more clinicals need to be done in that area, but that's what we'd be looking at. So
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if 20 years down the road we have, data that points to many illnesses or side effects are due to endocannabinoid deficiency, which causes a cascade of events within the body that it's not like something that happened to you, quote unquote. So
yeah, as Miles touched on, the best thing you could do really is just start. We love working with AI, and we encourage people to work with AI and really start asking it questions, with to really learn more about the endocannabinoid system. We educate our providers. We can kind of go that far so they can educate the patients as they come in as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you offer training on how to use the product, how to talk about it.
Absolutely. Abundance of training. We really kind of go into, we have to, because they didn't learn about this in medical school. And and what's nice about it, the clinics that we work with, you're looking at naturopathic and integrative doctors and such, they're so receptive to learning this because I mean it's not like this is based off of anything. There's 30,000 research papers that have been done on this system and cannabinoids. And there's pharmaceutical companies that are looking to develop synthetic cannabinoids and things like that. This isn't something new now. So so yeah, definitely a lot of training that we offer on the website for the clinics that can then, because we can't necessarily go straight to the consumer and really talk about it, but we can educate somebody that has the right medical background to be able to educate their patient.
with the proper references, and they
Right.
do their due diligence as well. So it's
Exactly.
not us really
Yeah.
saying it, it's us bringing the work to them.
So does this require an extra cost for them, like an additional license or certificate or something? Or is this just something like where you could get credits for learning something new at a conference, or how would
Yeah,
you?
we do have a program that we do for continuing education for nurses as well. That's typically done at, let's say, like a Vibe conference, or an AVA, American IV
Heal.
Association conference.
Yeah.
HEAL, yeah. So yeah, we do have that education that we can provide to continuing education as well.
And you
That
can't,
really touches more about the endocannabinoid system, talks a little bit about how our product works, but it's 95% of it is really just talking about the endocannabinoid system.
Then Miles, were you going to add something to that?
no, I was just saying that you can get credits for it if you're attending a nursing conference where they're teaching about endocannabinoid systems. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah.
Awesome. And then how can we help you, or how can people that are listening help you? Word of mouth, referrals, what is it that you are looking for right now? I think that's urgent.
I think first and foremost, yeah, do the research and kind of look into it, and then our picoiv.com if you want to go there, and whether you're a clinic and want to learn more about it, or whether you're a patient and want to get more information from a clinic, we can help in both of those in those ways. And the website's very easy to navigate. So that's probably the biggest thing. It's just, and really just we're spreading this word. That's really what we're trying to do, is just really spread the word on the endocannabinoid system as well. We actually have a website that's about ready to go up. It's not up yet. It's called supportcbdresearch.com.
Oh, nice.
That we're really trying to house as much information on endocannabinoid system, because you're going to find bits and pieces everywhere, but we haven't found anything that's really consolidated to really just, if somebody really wants to just study the endocannabinoid system on that level, whether it be endocannabinoids or phytocannabinoids or anything, that's really going to be housing everything. So we're hoping to have that up sometime around August. So
And I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is word of mouth. We need to start talking to our doctors and our physicians and nurses about the endocannabinoid system and asking those questions, because I mean, all of the data points to we're programmed to die, and how do we slow that process down, right? That leads to longer life and a healthier life. Sick people don't live very long, so how do we become healthier as a community and help each other out? And I think it's raising awareness, because for whatever reason, this was discovered, in the 90s, but it was still to this day, we're in 2025 and people are like, what? That's a thing? I didn't know if you didn't have any I didn't even know you make your own endocannabinoids, let alone phytocannabinoids, stimulate the system. You know what I mean? So I think that's like the worst the worst thing about it. So
well, and I think it's important to point out that our product has zero THC in it. We're not cannabis. We're derived from the hemp plant. We make sure that there's absolutely zero THC in this product as well. And THC has got its own life and everything. I mean, there's a lot that you could talk about on that side, but really, we're just talking about these non-psychoactive cannabinoids.
yeah, and those are CBD, CBG, CBC, CBN, CBDA, and CBGA. That's our profile, in case anyone was wondering. So
Yeah, and I'm glad that you guys are putting a website together because to find credible resources, yeah, as you already know, like going on the web, finding stuff, you find everything.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, there's a lot of people that make claims, and you know, it's it's something that isn't right. You need
Yeah.
to have science-backed data to make claims. You can't just be like, it fixes this, So, people do need to do it the right way. And I think some people are frustrated because they know how great the endocannabinoid system is, but you have to still go through the right processes. So.
And do you have like a lot of people that are going out, like maybe physicians that are advocating this as well? Um, or do you need people that could help you do that for advocacy, like on what you're doing and that it's real and then this is actually working?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of partnerships who have done their due diligence. I mean, American IV Association, we work with them a lot. Like I said, we want to regulate ourselves, and we want to do it the right way. So we have them, we have, Guardians helped us out a lot, Liquivita, there's been a lot of larger companies, Drip Bar. So it's been great that they've looked at it and done their vetting process. And what I tell the smaller clinics is like, if the big guys have ran us through the ringer, and California Board of Pharmacy has ran us through the ringer, and everybody has, and we're still here. I mean, we're not, we're doing it the right way. There's a reason that we're not just a blip in the radar, because we're actually investing in University of Illinois in mice studies, rat studies. We're investing in doing all these processes that you need to do to really start something and get it recognized the right way in the right channels through all the doctors and medical boards and advisory boards, or medical director boards. Sorry. So.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear what other things you guys might be looking to do in the future. Can you talk a little bit about that right now?
We can't a little, we're a little bit under, there's a lot of NDAs that we've signed and different things. There is some pretty exciting stuff that will be coming out before the end of the year that we'll be excited to share. We just can't write at this time, but
What we
you'll
can't.
know. There's some pretty amazing stuff that we know that the product is doing. We're very aware of making sure we know FDA is looking at us. We want to make sure we're following their
Working with
guidelines, we're
them
following
and
their rules, and so we want to do things the right way. So when we do make an announcement, we're going to have plenty of clinical evidence to support it. And so, but
I think I can give you a little tidbit is cannabinoids are not the only thing you can pecanize, and we know that.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
there's some other plant-based medicines that we can basically apply the same process to that have never been
Similar
studied.
process, not
Yeah,
same.
yeah. So we do have those.
Really hard.
So those will be coming as well.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited for you guys. I think, just hearing you talk about it and the product, why you're doing it, like, sometimes it's like you got to be patient, right? Um,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm very impatient and I hate it.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. That was my last question. So if you want to add anything else, feel free, but I'll put all of your information below this video so people know where to find you and
Perfect.
they'll be able to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
we've got a great team. If anybody has any questions or anything, we've got a forum within our website for the doctors if they want to ask questions. And it really is just coming down to education, and that's our biggest thing that's at the end of the day, that's really what we're trying to do. So
Awesome.